Hello everyone, I'm Richard, your host, and today I would like to cover with you how to introduce yourself in Japanese properly. As usual, Riko-chan will be here to help you out with the pronunciation.
Hello.
All right, now regarding this video, what are we going to cover is introduction, duh, but what exactly does that include? First, we'll teach you the probably most basic structure for introducing yourself. Then we'll drill down a little bit deeper into alternative ways of saying the same thing. When I started off with Japanese, well, any language really, I always hated to learn another word for the same thing that I already knew. I would have been happier to learn a brand new word so that I can express myself better overall. Um, After all, it's better to know 1,000 different words than 1,000 words for the same thing, right? But here's the catch. There are many ways of saying the same thing, right? Japanese is no different. People you're talking to may use one of the other ways, and that could catch you off guard. So while you need to know only one way of introducing yourself, you should at least be aware of the other way of the other ones so that you understand what people are saying back to you. I remember one time in Taiwan, I was practicing Japanese with some of the locals who were also able to speak Japanese. One of them asked me how old I was, but I did not understand what she was saying because I didn't know about this other way of asking the same thing. It was rather embarrassing since I already spoke pretty decent Japanese back then. Well, moral of the story, add these alternative ways to your passive vocab. If you add them to your active vocab, that's awesome. You're golden. But if not, at least, you should at least know they exist. Okay, let's get into it. First off, here's the word for self-introduction. Riko-chan?
Yes. 自己紹介。自己、自己、紹介、紹介、自己紹介。
This word you don't really need to remember, but I felt I should at least mention what this lesson is actually called. 今から自己紹介します。I will introduce myself now. はじめまして。私はリチャードです。よろしくお願いします。
はじめまして。私はリコです。よろしくお願いします。
This is saying something like, nice to meet you, my name is Richard, please treat me nice, or let's get along. We'll cut this into 3 parts and address them separately. First up, はじめまして。Riko-chan?
はじめまして。はじめまして。はじめまして。This is commonly translated as nice to meet you, but actually this Japanese phrase means it's first time. It's a short version of it's first time meeting you.
Yes, very notorious phrase, but you don't need to say it. Actually, it's kind of optional. I personally don't use it, though you'll hear it quite often. Okay, now for saying my name is X.
私は、私は、私 means I or me. は is a topic marker and translates into English as for. So 私は translates as for me. Then you say your name. And then you follow up with です。です。This basically means is.
That's right. We're not going to cover how to translate your name into Japanese in this video because you need to know the Japanese alphabet first, and that would take a while to explain. So for the sake of keeping this short, we're leaving it out. But if you're really interested, let us know in the comments below and we'll put together another mini class about it. So right now we have はじめまして。私はリチャードです。Actually, 私は can be also omitted. If it's clear you're talking about yourself, you may drop it. So, リチャードです could still be considered a valid 自己紹介. probably not the most formal or proper one, but still valid. Okay, now for the final part.
よろしくお願いします。よろしく、よろしく、よろしく、お願い、おねがい、お願いします。しますします。よろしくお願いします。
This phrase is a little bit hard to translate literally into English, but it's usually translated as "be nice to me" or "treat me well." I like to translate this as "let's get along, please," just because it seems to make more sense in English. It's a humble or polite thing to say when you're introducing yourself and should not be left out unless you're in an extremely casual environment. So here is the full intro again.
はじめまして。私はリコです。よろしくお願いします。
Okay, this is a fairly decent way of introducing yourself. If you want to introduce yourself with a full name, just put the family name first. In Japan, a family name always comes first. So when a Japanese person introduces themselves to you, the first bit will be their family name, and the second one will be their given name. So it will be something like this. 私はハイニー・リチャードです。Or I am Heini Richard. Here are some of the alternatives I mentioned earlier in this video. You can either say, my name is X, or you can say, I am called X.
That's right. My name is Riko, so I could say either Riko です or I could say Riko と言います。They are both polite. You already know です。Here is how you can say I am called と言います。と言いますと言います。There is one informal way to say です。And that is だ。
So now you know how you can say はじめまして、私はリチャードと言います or nice to meet you, I'm called Richard.
There is one more word と申します。ともうしますと申します。This is more formal than the previous ones.
Oh, this is my favorite. I practically don't use the other ones. Even when I'm in a casual environment, I like to use this formal expression, simply because you just cannot offend anybody with this, and it shows good manners too. You can switch to informal speech anytime, so why not start off politely? Now, for the final part.
よろしくお願いします has both more and less formal versions. The more formal one would be よろしくお願いいたします。いたします。いたします。いたします。This version is called 尊敬語 or honorific language. It is the most polite level in Japanese language. You might want to use this in a business meeting or something like that. The less formal is どうぞよろしく。どうぞ。どうぞ。どうぞよろしく。This is in the middle of polite and casual. You can find this in many textbooks, but to be honest, not so many Japanese people actually use this one.
Yeah, that's true. I seem to hear it more often from foreigners studying Japanese than from Japanese people themselves. You can still encounter this, but it's just not as common as the other ones.
The most casual or informal way of saying よろしくお願いします is just よろしく. You could use this one maybe in a bar. If your friend wants to introduce you to his or her friend and the person is younger than you could say よろしく.
Okay, that's pretty much it. So let's summarize everything we've covered with some example sentences. Oh, but before I do that, I want to mention that Japanese is very interesting because it has several ways of referring to oneself, meaning there is more than one way of saying I. There's quite a few of them, so I'm not going to cover that in this video, but I want to put up a video about this real soon. One of these words is watakushi wa. This is a humble way of saying I, and using this word, we can now introduce ourselves in the most polite way. はじめまして。私はハニー・リチャードと申します。よろしくお願いいたします。When to use it? Business, formal speech, etc. More casual but still polite example would be リチャードです。よろしくお願いします。
A little informal example. 私はリコと言います。どうぞよろしく.
And another informal, this is probably the least formal one, would be リチャードだよ。よろしく. Yo is a sentence suffix. You may have noticed I use da with a yo. Ricciardo da yo. This yo is used when you present some information that you assume the listener is unfamiliar with, or it is unknown to the listener. It is not considered informal, so you could use it with almost any of the previous examples. I probably wouldn't add it to the most polite version, but you should still be fine. If you're not sure which one to use, here's my recommendation. はじめまして、リチャードと申します。よろしくお願いします。I'm yet to go wrong with this one. And of course, you don't need the はじめまして, as I said, it's optional. Now you know pretty much everything there is to know about introducing yourself in Japanese. I'd like to point out that a transcript and an MP3 are available for download, and you can find the link below in the description. Also, I just recently started my own blog about Japanese language. The link is in the description as well. I'll be posting there a lot about grammar, common pitfalls, learning strategies, cultural notes, etc., etc. Basically everything that anyone interested in Japanese should know. If you have any questions about Japanese language, let me know in the comments below. I'll try my best to answer those. I might even write an article about it on my blog with more detailed explanation and example sentences and whatnot. So be sure to let me know about what's giving you a hard time. I'll do my best to address it. That's it from us today. If you have any questions, post them in the comments section below. Don't forget to download the transcript and MP3 because we've put it the transcript. We've put it into PowerPoint slides. It's a PDF version, but it's more organized and will be good for reviewing. The links for that are in the description. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Bye bye.